Hi guys, Sheena here from Atlas Agency Launch Lab here. And tonight I'm going to do things a little bit differently. Instead of just talking about digital marketing skills, agency skills, and things that you need to know to get clients, close clients, and keep clients, I wanted to come live and tell you the truth behind being an entrepreneur, the truth behind being an agency owner, and the truth behind what anyone who has ever reached success still struggles with every single day, and what they've learned from those struggles and how they have used it to make themselves incredibly successful. So if you're here joining me tonight, drop into the comments and say hi. And I am very, very excited to do this little expose with you. I'm hoping to share a little bit about my personal journey, hear from you guys about your personal journey, and answer any questions that may have come up for you guys in the week. So with that teaser of an introduction, some of you guys might be sitting there thinking, what is she going on about? I'm talking about how hard it is. And not just the work. I mean, yeah, the work is hard. You've got to know detailed, orientated things about so many different topics, all right? You know, it feels like at times you have to go through the mini MBA kind of gauntlet just to start your agency. But the part that we don't talk about, the part that we don't share with others, the part that we don't get taught on how to manage is the overload. The overload of the fact that your personal life can turn to hell on a dime, but your business has to keep running. And you still have to manage that with grace. And you still have to turn up and put a smile on your face and do those sales calls, pretend that nothing's happened. You have to respond to your emails. You know, if you're anything like me, you can get hundreds of DMs a day, so many more than that, emails, not to mention the fact that you're managing 9, 10, 16, I don't know how many high-level accounts you guys are in, let alone all the Slack channels that you can be part of once you get to success. And it can really, really become too much. And there are times when you just want to hide. You wish that there was a way that you could turn it all off and pause the clock and give yourself time to catch up. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my personal story and share the absolute truth behind what I went through when I was starting my agency and what I still go through, even though my agency is up and it's running and it's going great. I still struggle with these things. So when I first started, there was literally days when I knew all the things I needed to do, but I'd be sitting at my desk and it all felt like it was too much. It really, really did. And especially when I didn't have clients yet, I often felt like, I'm going to do all these other things and put this part off until tomorrow. And that's natural. We all do it. We honestly do. But then when our life becomes overwhelmed outside of business life, like let's say you're a parent, okay? Something happens with your child, they have to go to the dentist, and then you have to go to the store, and you have to get Halloween, and oops, someone forgot the violin, now I've got to go drop it off at school. It's easy to push business aside, okay? And it works when you haven't quite got your agency there yet. But once your agency's up and running, it's not so simple. It's really, really not that simple. And it can all feel a little bit too much. I mean, you can turn up at the office and go through your day and deal with, this campaign's not performing and this isn't happening. And I've got 15 different people asking me a question because I'm the boss and I have to know the answer. And it's not that it's hard answers. It's that your focus gets split in so many different directions. And then add to that, if you're a parent or you're a wife or you're a husband or you're a significant other or you're a sister, you have family members. This split focus that happens so rapidly throughout the day can be incredibly challenging. And you can find that it seeps into things. Like your professional demeanor may be a little less professional. You might be a little more short-tempered with your with your contractors, with your freelancers, with your employees, with your business partners if you had them. And it's not necessarily short-tempered. It might, instead of saying, hey, how was your morning? How's your dog going? Little things like that. It's straight to, right, what's going on here? Can you tell me what's going on? And it doesn't get received very well from them, okay? And this is a personal one that I struggle with. I told you I was going to be completely honest. This is a personal one I struggle with. Whenever there's a situation that's come up, I often get to the point where I'm like, right, I just got to ask the question, get the answer, move on. I'm doing 50 million things. Everybody wants something from me. And it seeps into your work life, but then it can also seep into your home life. All right. And that might come across multiple ways. It might mean that you're sitting at your desk and you're sitting there and you're eating Jell-O and chocolate and chips and a loaf of bread, or, things that aren't nutritionally healthy for you. But that's what you do when you're stressed out. It's what you do. You neglect your nutrition. It might mean that you haven't been to the gym in a month. It might mean that you've stopped doing yoga. You've stopped listening to music. You stopped reading books. You stopped doing those things that you used to do that was a huge part of who you were, and that was part of your self-care routine, because this has gone on. And then because you've neglected those things, and because you've had a hard day at work, are you snappier with your significant other? Do you have less time to be patient when your kids are coming to you and say, hey, Mom, look at this beautiful paper airplane that I made. Look how cool it is. And you're just like, not now. Like, there's so many other things to go on. Does that happen to you? Because I know for a fact it happened to me. And it still does to this day at times. I still have those moments. And how do you manage it? How? Because the key to success is being able to manage it. We all know that. We all know that the key to success is being able to turn up to work day, put on the professional mask, go through the day almost like a robot at times and just get it all done and bang it all out and be anything and everybody, anything and anything for everybody. And then be able to close the door on that and put that smile on your face and hug your kids and hug your significant other and enjoy a beautiful meal and actually savor that and go step outside and do the yoga and go to the swimming pool and do all those things that you need to. We know that that's the key. So how do we make it happen? How do we? And it's a struggle, especially when things go hard. And when I mean hard, I mean real hard, and not necessarily just in work. There are times work gets hard. Okay, I can sit here and give you tools for that. Great. The parts that I think some of us need it though, is the tools that we need for personal life. All right. Is it an anniversary of something? So an anniversary is something that you just don't want to remember. Is it something's wrong with your children? Have they got a new diagnosis, or are they just sick and cranky and you're exhausted from that? Is there something going with your partner? Are they unfulfilled at work and it's causing them to be down and that is not that person that they were anymore? Or is it harder than that? Are they ill? Have they hurt themselves? Are they struggling? Is it the fact that, your sister is very, very ill and you have to turn up and you have to be able to do those work things? What is it that is that big thing that you can think about inside your life that has happened recently or not so recently that you've felt you carry with you inside when you sit in front of that computer and it's harder to put on that professional facade? Do you have that thing inside your mind? I know I do. I know that this last week 2 very, very significant things have happened to my family, and it's been a real struggle for me. Well, we all know that it exists, and I promised I'd come here and I'd tell you guys the truth, and I would tell you what you need to do to help. What you need to do to help is boundaries. All right, you need to have boundaries. How many of you agency owners are like me or like I'm trying to not be, and you wake up and the first thing you do is pick up your phone? Yep, pick up your phone. You check all your DMs. You check all your work emails. You check your Slack notifications. And if you're anything like me, you're part of 5, 6 different Slack accounts, and you have 15, 16, 17 different Go High level accounts that you're part of, that you have multiple ad campaigns running just for yourself, let alone for your clients that you want to go in and check straight away. And then because you've done that, you've responded to something. All right. So somebody else has started responding as well. And then they think, because you broke that barrier, that boundary, that, do you know what? It's okay to message this business owner at no matter what time. All right. It might be 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, but do you know what? I have something to say. I'm going to say it. Or it might be, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. All right. I'm going to send a message. Okay. And I mean, my business working hours are a little different than most. I work from 11 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes I try to shut down by about 7. So my hours are a little bit different than yours, but I'm sure you guys have hours. And I know for a fact that I work outside of those hours. Every single time I do it. And because my clients and because people I'm interacting with are, I've told them it's okay to not respect these boundaries because I haven't respected them. It just becomes a pile up. All right. You get it over and over and over and over again. Okay. And then the next part, let's talk about your clients. Okay. Have you set boundaries with your clients? Has it been, right, we're doing this campaign and these are the timelines for it. And these are the parts that you get input on. And if you want edits, they have to be done by this date, like every Friday, every single Friday. All edits for the following week need to be in because after that date, no more edits. Have you created those boundaries? Have you created appropriate ways for people to interact with you? Have you been talking to them on Facebook? Because if you have, do they think it's now okay for them to message you at any time of the day? Or have you very clearly said, if you contact me via email, here's my email address. You contact me via email. And if I don't respond in the next, I will respond in the next 48 hours. Instead of you breaking that boundary and showing people that you are available to whatever, they get to call you 50 times a day, not quite 50 times a day, but you know what I mean. All right. And then let's talk about the other side of the boundaries, not just work boundaries. Okay. Have you set aside time for yourself? I mean, what we hear that all the time, set aside time for yourself. What does it mean? All right. Have you decided, you know what? I am going to go to the gym twice a week. I'm not a gym person. For me, it's a walk in the woods or go down to the pool or something else. But this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to respect that time. I'm going to make sure I take it religiously. And this is who I am. Am I going to wake up in the morning and do 15 minutes of yoga? Am I going to make sure that between 5 and 7, I'm not available and I don't do work things? I interact with my lovely family, that I prepare a nutritious, delicious meal. I take time to savor it, that I laugh with my family. Are you respecting yourself enough to make sure that music is still included in your life? That there's, instead of just, right, okay, respond to a message, jump in the shower, put some moisturizer on my face while I'm still responding to people, blah, 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 blah. Or is it, do you know what? I'm going to have a shower. I'm going to put on some music and I'm actually going to take some time to feel who I am again instead of just constantly being in this work mode. All right. Have you set boundaries around the fact that, you know what? I don't take my meals at my desk for anything and for anybody. Whenever I take a meal, I step outside or I'm at my kitchen table, or, what boundaries have you put in place? Because I promise you guys, if you put these boundaries in place professionally and personally, if you create these boundaries for yourself, I'm not talking about imposing these boundaries on other people. Okay. It will naturally happen once you start creating these boundaries for yourself. And once you start respecting yourself with these boundaries, they're naturally going to start coming into place with your work life. And if you don't have them, you will burn out. If you don't have them, then you aren't going to get that success that you wanted. If you don't have them, you aren't going to enjoy your life. Doesn't matter how successful your agency is. Doesn't matter how much monthly recurring income you're getting. Doesn't matter how, how great your team is and how many people you've hired and everything else. You haven't got these boundaries for yourself. And so you aren't enjoying your life. You haven't reached that dream. Because you haven't reached that dream, you can't be as successful. One of the things that as CEOs, as owners of our own agency, it's so incredibly important for us to remember is that we are the visionaries, okay? If you've created this time for yourself, if you created this space for yourself, and if you're respecting and loving your own boundaries, then you're going to have time to suddenly see something that you wouldn't have seen if you're constantly in the minutiae of everything all day, every day, okay? You're going to say, do you know what? I never thought about this, but if I did this, then it would streamline this process, which would do this, and I could be less involved. Or it will be, another stream of income I never thought of doing before. It popped into my head because you've given yourself time to be yourself. You've given yourself time, into your mind time, to be in that creative space instead of in that constant up here, emotionally stressed, overwhelmed, covered in everything space, all right? Your relationships with your significant others and your family and your sisters and your friends is going to be so much healthier. And how do you feel when you have a really healthy relationship? Like, think about it. The last time you went out to coffee or something with a girlfriend, okay? You might have been talking about nothing. You might have been talking about the origin of the universe or whatever it was. But afterwards, most of the time, you come away and you're feeling recharged, right? You have this energy, this hope, this spark inside of you that wasn't there before you'd connected with this person. And one of the things that will happen when you don't have boundaries, when you're constantly in the overwhelmed minutiae of work all day, every day, when you do it to yourself, because you're picking up that phone first thing in the morning, you're working right until the end of the day, you're not taking time to respect, this is my mealtime and I'm not going to eat at the desk. This is my time for myself where I'm going to go to the gym. You're not respecting your own boundaries. So this spark disappears. And when that spark disappears, so does the creativity, So does the visionary part of yourself. So does that space inside of yourself that starts to recognize issues and immediately come up with a problem instead of the issue feeling like, something else I have to deal with. Okay. So that's the honest truth. Okay. It's the honest truth of entrepreneur life. All right. It's not easy to start an agency. No matter how much support you get, no matter how amazing the program is that you're doing, no matter how easily it comes to you, no matter how much you love, certain aspects of it, it's never going to be easy. There's going to be times when it's hard and overwhelming and you're like, when is this ever going to feel okay? All right. And then once you start scaling, it's never easy. Okay. You can have the best team. And trust me, guys, I have some amazing people on my team. Really, really, truly amazing people. But no matter how good they are, it wasn't until I started respecting my own boundaries that I started loving life, that I started feeling successful. And the minute you started